Good afternoon. It's good to see you today and be seen by you, even though we're not together again. You might be asking, where am I? What am I doing? Well, I'm actually on a train because I was supposed to be heading immediately or shortly after service today to Omaha to see my oncologist and other doctors. And I was going to then drive back home immediately to come back and be with things here. And of course, get the car loaded, turn the car on, take a look, and I realized that I've got a flat tire. And there is no place near to get that tire replaced. Even putting a spare on, there is hardly any air in that. And so we scrambled, and here I am on a train trying to get to Omaha, which means all of my thoughts and plans for the day have changed. What I thought the day would be, what I thought as far as cost would happen is changed. Got to get a hotel room, got to pay for a train there and back, got to pay for a tire. You know, one of the things I'm going to be talking to you about here, because I think it's really important, I think there's a serious need for everyone to hear, and I'm going to be saying it over and over and over again in many ways, is trying to help you understand that, well, what is it that the Rolling Stones said? You can't always get what you want, but you get what you need. And somehow in there, as I'm looking in words like contentment and pieces of the scripture as I'm going today and in the midst of my day, the fact is those words ring pretty true as well. You know, we're going to have to understand, and again, I'm going to have to just keep saying this until I guess everybody figures this out for your own selves. But again, when we come back to worship, which will probably be more like the end of June, it will not be like you think it's going to be. It will definitely not be like it was, and it will definitely not look like it did, especially for some time. These things will be a part of your life. The seating arrangements will be a part of life. The way we get ushered in, the numbers that are allowed, how the service goes, music, no music, all those pieces as we're consider how to safely, cautiously, and carefully open the doors to the church means that none of us are going to get what we want. I'll be glad just to see anybody sitting in the pews, but ultimately the truth is we have to realize that it's, again, worship is not about us. If you have any questions, you're free to call me. I'll be glad to explain it. I'll be glad to send you the 9-page paper, the 20-page paper, the information from the CDC, all these pieces that are there that we have to work through and try to figure out, and ultimately, as a pastor and board and elders, try to figure out how to best take care of our people without rushing into something very quickly and then finding out that we probably shouldn't have stepped. Or to much rather have said, okay, well, we took it slowly, we are open, we are able to worship. Things will be coming back to where they need to be eventually. It's like my trip today. This is nowhere near what I planned. But again, I keep talking about an adventure. I keep talking about opportunities. I keep talking about possibilities. It's a way that we can probably relearn and understand. And in some sense, we're going to be taught that it won't be the same. But that's okay. That's okay. Because it's all about worshiping and understanding and being with a God who is always the same, who doesn't change, who doesn't create havoc in our life, but in true worship, and the worship, as Jesus talks about, in spirit and truth, opens the door for us to find things that we don't have when we're not worshiping in those ways. No peace, no contentment, no understanding of what we're doing. These things all open the door for us to find what it means to worship in spirit and truth, because truly to be together as the body, to share in sacraments, to find ourselves in other ways connected that we can't be right now. The truth is we're going to find a lot more than we expect if we're looking for it, and we're looking for God. Secondly, I'm hearing news. I'm told by my son where I'm heading in Omaha. There's been very difficult riding for 2 days already, and they've already got a curfew in Omaha now. And I'm hearing that there's stuff going on in Champaign, of course, other places. All these things, again, add to struggles that just aren't good in the first place. Strangely, as I keep thinking about the message this morning, and I think about Pentecost and what God's offering us, I think it's really important to maybe go back and listen again to that message, hear what God was saying in it, because truly we need to find ourselves being lit for Him and not lit with all those other pieces that we've allowed and are allowing our lives to take part in. Our challenge is to realize, in no uncertain terms, that if we're going to bear the name of Christian, we need to bear a different light in the world. That's the only thing that's going to make a difference. I was reading a short article about a pastor in Champaign who was standing outside of one of the stores reminding people that the actions that they wanted to take weren't going to demonstrate the power of God. They weren't going to demonstrate what it means that He is over all things and bigger than all things. The same goes with how we come to worship. If it's about me and I'm going to get upset and my ways aren't getting met, it's not about God. It's not about what we want to have happen, other than for our own personal needs and wants. Interestingly enough, I think there's a challenge for the church, not our congregation alone, the church, for the people of God in these days. Look at all the things that are laying around us. What news are you bearing into the world? Are you continuing to pass on and feed angers, frustrations, hardships, struggles, gossiping, stress? Instead of calling me, people are calling each other and asking questions. Can I ask you, brothers and sisters, how it is that you think by asking somebody else you're going to find an answer when they don't know? You need to begin to talk in truth and love and honesty to the people who do. And we don't even know. We're struggling to find a way. The elders, the board, we're seeking to find a way to make it through here, to follow in a wilderness path. And God's lighting up little pieces as we go. But that's the challenge of a life of faith. We have to look at all the pieces of life that are not being fed and led in God's way and ask the questions, am I being a part of that? And if we're honest, most likely we're going to find the places where we're feeding it. And then we have to come to grips with that. We have to come to grips with the accountability that it holds. We have to come to realizations of the truth of what it's going to require to find itself made straight again. And ultimately, we're going to ask, are we a witness for Christ in all that we're doing? This is the first of many fireside chats are going to focus on this kind of thing, but hey, I got nothing else to do right now other than to share this stuff and my wrestlings in my heart, my struggles for the world, my struggles for the families that are being affected, my struggles for the people who aren't seeing a different way, my struggles for the people who are letting emotion and things run their lives. And all the time, God's Word is around us and reminding us to find a different way. Paul writes about contentment in Philippians chapter 4. And he says, I know both things. I know hunger and I know plenty. But all of it's taught me to understand contentment where I am. That contentment doesn't mean that we don't talk in truth and love about things. Contentment doesn't mean that we don't address issues that need to be addressed. But it does talk about how we address them. It does talk about how we speak into them. Because wearing the name of Christian, bearing a witness for Christ, means we are to witness as He would and He did. And that doesn't mean that He didn't speak the truth, because, oh man, did He speak the truth in all things. But the truth is, above all, that He calls us to speak it too. I just got word that Becky's made it home from dropping me off at Galesburg. I've got 5 more hours to go, and that's all okay. It's not what I've intended to do today. This is not the way I thought my day would go. But then again, when is it ever? Each day I wake up. Each day I am given a gift. If breath has filled my body. Each day I am offered the adventure of a lifetime with God. And each day I'm confronted with the brokenness and failing of the world. And amidst all of it, God's calling me to witness. Who will go? Who will bear my love for them? Who will talk and act and speak in different ways than the world around us? believe the song and the writers of the scripture said, "Here I am, Lord, send me." So, till I get to talk to you again, I hope that you all have a safe and quiet night. I pray that our own town and other towns will be quiet and restful and peaceful, that people will begin to realize ways to seek to bring a hope, a true hope into the world in the midst of things, to correct things that need to be corrected, to demonstrate that things do have consequence that are done that are wrong, and above all to do all of it in the love and the hope and the promise that Christ gives us because of his death and his resurrection. Today is the day the Lord has made. Tomorrow is the day the Lord has made. If there is no tomorrow, the answer that's left is, Lord, are we standing with you? So, good night and God bless.